hard to think of Venom without thinking of Carnage, and vice versa. The two are linked, quite literally thanks to the alien symbiote that gave both of them their villainous powers. You might think their similarities end there, but you'd be wrong.
You may be our spawn, but that won't keep us from destroying you.
Venom and Carnage have more in common than Spider-Man and symbiotes, and we're here to break it down for you. Before we get to hunting for Easter eggs, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Once you do, you'll never have to again.
Together again.
Both are Spider-Man villains. Every superhero must have a foe, and if you're a popular character, you have to have a few bad guys in rotation. How can you be a superhero if you have nothing to fight for or against? A foil is what makes them rise to the occasion, overcome their fears, and swing into the history books as great. A nemesis forces a superhero to have a focus and constantly be on the guard. An attack could strike at any time and any place. One must be ready, right?
Didn't know you could do that.
If you're Spider-Man, your spider sense must be going off all the time. But not for these two major foils in Peter's world. You know, because he can't sense them. Venom and Carnage are both major villains in the Spider-Man universe. They're both major foes in the comic books and will be in the cinematic universe as well, once the new franchise gets slinging. Both archenemies have battled Spider-Man for a very long time. Sometimes Peter Parker has a tough time going up against just one of them. Other times in the comic books, Spider-Man must go up against both at the same time. Venom and Carnage, though both vying to take down the web-slinger, are not actively working together to defeat Spider-Man. We don't think these two play well with others. Do you? Boom. Encounters with Deadpool. Does it sometimes feel like everything in the Marvel Universe is connected through Wade Wilson? Instead of playing 6 Degrees of Separation with Kevin Bacon, play the Marvel version with Deadpool. It's almost like it can't be considered official until you've had some encounter with Wilson.
Oh, hello.
Venom and Carnage are both linked to the Merc with a Mouth, but in different ways in the comic books. Venom and Deadpool have a long history with one another. It turns out that Wade Wilson has bonded with the Venom symbiote on more than one occasion. In the first run of Secret Wars, over 20 years ago, Deadpool and Venom merged. The latest incarnation of the two characters imagined their merging in a series called Back in Black. In addition, there was a What If series that imagined a reality where Wilson permanently bonded with the Venom symbiote. Can you imagine how everything could have been different if Marvel had decided to keep it that way? Deadpool has also come in contact with Carnage for a period of time, in a complicated storyline that involves a lot of trickery. Let's just say, Deadpool and Carnage didn't walk away on good terms. Carnage vowed revenge against Deadpool, so we'll have to wait to see how he gets it.
Between the two of us, Dad, there won't be enough left of Spider-Man.
Created by symbiotes. While Spider-Man got his powers through the bite of a radioactive spider, his two most famous super foes got their powers in very different ways. Technically, Spider-Man helped form both Carnage and Venom when he first discovered the symbiotic suit on the alien planet. If not for his original suit being destroyed, triggering Parker's search for a new one, then neither Venom nor Carnage would have come into existence. Peter discovered the black and white Venom suit. When he put it on, he found that it gave him new special abilities. Parker developed regenerative powers and suddenly had unlimited webbing fluid. However, this was no suit. Well, not like the original red and blue suit anyway. The suit was an alien life form. When Spider-Man rid himself of the symbiote, it found journalist Eddie Brock. It attached itself to Brock and helped bring out some of his worst qualities, which the symbiote loves to do. Brock became incarcerated where he met Cletus. The symbiote Venom life form left behind a piece of itself in the jail cell when Brock left. That little piece then infected the bloodstream of Cletus Cassidy to become Carnage. Carnage's symbiote was different than Venom, turning him red instead of black. In addition, Cassidy's blood is infected with the organism, unlike Brock, who wears the suit.
Brock's rage and vengefulness made us a perfect breeding ground.
Both have human counterparts. Venom and Carnage are symbiotic supervillains who will stop at nothing to take down Spider-Man and rain chaos. Did you know that both characters have human counterparts with unique backstories? Venom's most famous host is Eddie Brock. Carnage comes from Cletus Cassidy, one of the worst human beings in all the Spider-Man universe. Without a doubt, Carnage is a monster who has earned the name Carnage. Even before he was a supervillain chasing after Spider-Man, Cassidy was a psychopath. Cletus Cassidy is known for going on murderous rampages throughout the city. Even as a regular human, he's a handful for the authorities and should be avoided at all costs. He did awful things to his family members and eventually became orphaned. Venom's counterpart, Eddie Brock, is less of a danger to society than Carnage, but he's still one pretty bad dude. A journalist, Brock developed cancer. An issue with one of his articles led to him being fired from the Daily Globe.
There's not a paper in town that will hire me.
You should have thought of that earlier.
His wife Anne left him. He started working out relentlessly to try and ease his mind, but it didn't work. He became obsessed and blamed all of his troubles on Spider-Man. Once he became Venom, he took his obsession and rage to a new level.
And now, here's a brand new sound for you and your partner in slime.
They became superheroes. We're always talking about what a crazy killer Carnage is and what destruction Venom brings down on New York City. Those things are absolutely true and should not be forgotten. These are very bad characters, and we're thankful Peter Parker's there to stop them. However, not everything that is bad stays bad, or at least in the Marvel comic book universe. Sometimes a villain gets a small reprieve from being bad and gets to be good, even if they're only good for a short while. In the case of Venom and Carnage, both have had the opportunity to be good guys. Bet you didn't see that one coming. For Carnage, his turn to good was a result of a spell cast by Dr. Doom and the Scarlet Witch. The spell changed the moralities of characters and made Carnage want to do good. He returned to New York City and immediately started saving people as a part of his change. Could you imagine that big red guy coming at you only to find out he wants to help? Venom became a superhero in the Venom Space Knight series. He bonded with Flash Thompson. That amalgamation changed his personality and he started doing good deeds. He even went on adventures with the Guardians of the Galaxy to help save people.
The suit! You gotta take it off.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Both are getting a movie. Supervillains have all sorts of origin stories. Sometimes the character's been wronged and needs to seek retribution, or the villain is jealous of the superhero and wants to take them down. No matter the cost, the villain will plan and plot to crush them. In the case of Venom and Carnage, neither of them are on the side of good. They are, however, inextricably linked to one another. If not for Venom, there would be no Carnage. It's hard to think of one without thinking of the other. When it comes to Venom and Carnage, their stories are so compelling and plotlines so interesting that they're going to be getting time on the big screen. Both are very popular with fans, and we're excited with the announcement. Tom Hardy has signed on to play Eddie Brock, the human host of Venom.
My name is Max.
The character of Cletus Cassidy, who the Carnage symbiote attaches to, has yet to be cast. We can only imagine who they'll get to play Carnage. Who do you think it'll be? We also hope that Spider-Man will make an appearance too. The film is set to be released in 2018. We can't wait to see what happens between now and then.
Peter Parker. No, wait. How about that guy from Aerosmith?
Multiple hosts. When talking about Venom and Carnage, it can be easy to forget that there are humans attached to the alien life form. An alien life form triggered the creation of Venom. It has its own personality, abilities, and desires that are separate from the hosts it infects. It can be easy to forget that Venom and Carnage can merge with other hosts. While we've talked a lot about Eddie Brock in this video because he was the first host of Venom after Spider-Man, he wasn't the only host. Venom has merged with several individuals over the course of its lifetime, bringing out the innate qualities and abilities of each one. This makes each iteration of Venom unique. Two of the most well-known hosts besides Eddie in the comic books are McDonald Mac Gargan and Eugene Flash Thompson.
I know. Peter Parker and Flash all friendly?
Let's not forget, technically Peter Parker was a host too. For Carnage, hosts work a little different. Carnage infects the bloodstream, so it can stay with you forever. In the Marvel Universe, both the Silver Surfer and Ben Reilly have been Carnage. Perhaps the most famous host was Dr. Octopus. That'd be one scary sight, to have 8 legs and the powers of Carnage. We would totally wait for Spider-Man to deal with this one.
Sure, we'll see each other soon enough. Spider-Man.
Similar superpowers. As Uncle Ben Parker would say,
with great power comes great responsibility.
With great power also comes amazing abilities.
I'll figure it out.
Thanks to the alien lifeform that enhanced both of their lives, the Venom suit and Carnage have given their hosts superpowers. One of the most powerful abilities both of these characters have, which makes them difficult to fight for Spider-Man, is they're immune to the Spidey sense. Because the Venom symbiote joined with Peter Parker before being with Brock and spawning off to Carnage, Parker's alert doesn't trigger. That is a very valuable power that both use to their advantage whenever they can. Both have regenerative qualities. When Eddie Brock was Venom, he had been suffering from cancer before he bonded with the suit. The symbiote rolled back the effects of the terminal disease and healed Brock. The catch was, of course, once Brock was no longer Venom, the cancer would come back. Carnage has accelerated healing, which is more powerful than Venom's abilities. Carnage can regenerate broken bones and tissues as well as heal basic injuries. In addition, both share a variety of abilities that make them formidable opponents. They both possess increased stamina and strength. They also have access to web abilities like Spider-Man.
Together now!
Similar weaknesses. Spider-Man regularly fights powerful opponents like the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, or the Hobgoblin. However, Venom and Carnage are different than his regular foes. These two came from an alien symbiote, not some technologically developed armor or special serum. In the hierarchy of power, Carnage is a more powerful entity than Venom. This also means that Venom and Carnage have similar weaknesses. Even though they're different and affect their hosts in different ways, they still come from the same originating source. The major vulnerability these two share is to sound. When Spider-Man was originally wearing the Venom suit and discovered it was an alien symbiote, he wanted to get it off. He had difficulty finding a way to extricate himself from Venom.
But not only does the suit bond, in time it replaces.
He eventually used the loud sound of church bells ringing to rid himself of the suit. Intense sounds and sonic waves are a Spider-Man's best friend. It is the cast that with each new spawn, their resistance to sound increases. However, no symbiote has been found to be immune, and this weapon continues to be used against them. Another major weakness Venom and Carnage have is heat. One good blast with elevated temperatures can cause some serious damage. Does that mean Peter should only fight these guys near the equator?
Star! Cold! Slimy!
Fought other superheroes. Venom and Carnage have been in the Marvel comic book universe for a long time. While they will be making the cinematic universe debut next year, we're also wondering if they'll also be incorporated into more than just the Spider-Man universe. What do you think? In the comic books, Carnage and Venom are not strictly resigned to being Peter Parker's opponents. We would be remiss to mention that they're often depicted as battling one another. However, they have gone up against other superheroes in the universe as well. This makes for interesting dynamics and combinations. We're hoping the writers in the MCU think about this when bringing them to the big screen as well. Maybe an Infinity Wars cameo? As we said earlier in the video, Carnage has gone up against Dr. Doom and the Scarlet Witch. One of the biggest powers Carnage ever came across was Sentry, who actually ended up ripping Carnage in half. Venom has even come in contact with Ghost Rider. Fun fact, Venom is immune to the Rider's penance stare.
Look into my eyes.
Could you imagine what that staring contest would look like? It could go on forever. There's also an alternative storyline about Venom and the Punisher.
Stop! Spider-Man is ours, and ours alone.
Who knew Carnage and Venom had so much in common? Maybe they should consider a joint birthday party next time. What's your favorite thing they share? Let us know in the comments below.